Okay, the key to graph any function or key piecewise function is, you usually want to make a little table, but we'll just start here. We know that when x is less than or equal to -2, it's simply a constant function. So we know that at -2, for example, it's down here at -4. And anything left or less than -2 is -4. So we have a constant function. Now notice how it's also equal to. So it's going to be a solid dot right there at -2, -4. Now, to graph this, the smart thing to do is to make a little table. And we're going to start with -2, even though it's greater than -2, because that gives us our starting point. So let's do -2, -1. Actually, all we need is one more point. Let's just do -2 and 0, because this is a straight line. If it was a curve, I'd do maybe one more point. But anyways, if we plug in -2 in here, we know that 2 times -2 is -4 plus 3 is -1. Now let's plug in the 0 in there. 0 plus 3 is 3. So here's the key thing. I know -2, -1 is right here, but I'm going to do an open circle because it's greater than, it's not equal to. We did the solid dot down here because it was equal to, right? And then all I need is my one other point. 0, 3 is right there. Now because it's a straight line, it's going to go up like that. So there is our graph. So again, as a quick replay, solid dot here because it was equal to, we knew it was a constant -4 whenever it was left or less than -2. Open circle here. Even though this is not part of the domain officially, we need a starting point. We picked one more point right here. And then, of course, we just connected it for a nice straight line. And there's my graph. Okay. Let's squeeze in one more here. So this time, we got this cool function here. We're supposed to create a sign line. That just means a number line. And the numbers you put on there are the zeros. So notice -4 is 0. So I'm going to have a point at -4. Right here, 1 is 0. Here, of course, is 0. And right there, 3 is 0. And it doesn't have to be perfect, just close. So we now know we have 3 zeros. Now notice how this is a double root, right? It's also called the multiplicity of this root is 2, right? The multiplicity is 2. That means it's a double root. What does that mean? That means it's going to bounce once we grab this bad boy. So, anyways, so what do we do next? Well, how about we pick a number that's left of -4, like -5, and plug it in here. So notice I'm going to plug in -5. And all we really need is the sign so we know what it's doing. You see, we already know, let's see here, 1, 2, 3. We already know we have a 0 there. And we already know we have a 0 at 1 and a 0 at 3. We just need to know, is it up here or down here? You see? Well, -5 plus 4 is a negative. Squared makes it positive. Okay. -5 minus 1 is a negative. -5 minus 3 is a negative. And a negative times negative is a positive. So we know the graph has to go up like this because it has to be positive up there. It can't be negative down here. You see? Now what? Well, just to verify, let's pick a point between 0 and -4. How about -2, right? So we're just going to plug in -2 instead. See what I'm doing here? Now, -2 plus 4 is negative, but of course the square will make it positive again. -2 minus 1 is negative. -2 minus 3 is a negative number. Again, it's positive. Now, remember we talked about it being a double root. See, that makes sense. It's going to bounce off of this root here at x equals -4. Okay? Now, let's pick a value between 0 and 1. So how about we put in, like 1/2. So watch carefully here. Notice how I'm putting in 1/2. Now, 1/2 plus 4 is positive. Squared stays positive. 1/2 minus 1 is negative. 1/2 minus 3 is negative. Again, it's positive between, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it stays positive between 0 and 1. So we know it's doing this right here, in other words. It's positive left of 1. We didn't have to actually do the 1/2. The 0 I confused myself with. Okay, let's go ahead and do a value between 1 and 3. How about 2? So watch carefully. If that's 2, of course I still get a positive because it's squared anyways. The 2 minus 1 is positive. The 2 minus 3 is negative. So notice I get a negative value when I'm between 1 and 3. And just to verify, let's plug in a number bigger than 3, like 5. We could have done 4. 5 plus 4, of course, means it's still positive. 5 minus 1 is positive. 5 minus 3 is positive. So see, we know it's positive like so. So there we have it. There's our rough sketch graph.